And as we are working on our spines and trying to figure out what is it around the spine that needs attention, why do I have discomfort somewhere? Maybe it's pain, maybe it's discomfort, maybe it's just tension. But one of the most important items on our list to investigate is having that spine move straight up from the bottom to the top, aligning that central line of gravity with that central point of gravity. So if we're leaning forward or we're slumping forward or vice versa, any shifts or changes from being over that line of gravity causes the body to then have to grip in places to compensate. So number one is be centered and lifted all the way to the top of your head. To counter that forward pull from the upper body, let's make sure and investigate. Shoulders back, shoulder blades down, and those collarbones, they don't have a lot of movement, but they have some. They should lift up because a lot of times they're falling on the ribs, so we need to get them off the rib cage. And then the most outer point needs to move back as the shoulder blades move down. We hope that with those two things, the head also finds its way back to its home position, directly over the shoulders. And then begin to deepen your breath and let the mind stay focused on that inhale and that exhale. And while moving the breath, not letting that just be it, because the mind is always wanting a challenge, always wanting something to focus on. What's the next thing? I'm watching the breath and I'm getting distracted and bored. Give me something else. Do this positive thing for yourself. Find within you a beautiful feeling. We spend so much time in our places of worry and frustration and fear and angst. The unknown is not easy to deal with. We need to look inside our hearts and rediscover that beautiful place. The place that is not the egoic mind. That place that is your higher self, full of light and full of love. Find that beautiful feeling. This would be a wonderful practice to do periodically, not just once a day, but many times during the day. So that you can reconnect to that inner being of light. So that we can reduce the separation of ourselves. As you exhale, bow your head. Open your eyes and then lift your head. Bring your arms out and up, inhaling, and interweave the fingers and turn the palms to the sky. Bow your head and release. Now, let's do the twist, but repeatedly, 3 times on each side. So we'll do this first. So exhaling in, inhaling out. Exhaling in, we're going to do a total of 6 movements of the spine. It will take 3 different practices to do all 6 movements. So one more time. So we'll help those muscles, whatever their job is, will help loosen them up a little bit around the spine. Because some of them do multiple jobs, some of them only have 1 or 2 jobs, and but they all need to get everything, you have to go in all directions. Now for the roundedness or the flexion and then the back bend, we'll take our arms like this in front of us and round the back. It would almost be like you're trying to get ready to move into the eagle pose, and you can bow your head. And then when you inhale, go into back extension and let the chin rise only as much as is comfortable. Exhale, everything rounds and the head comes forward. Inhale, everything back bends and the chin lifts. So now let's do that. We'll count 1 as the learning practice, and we'll do it again. It won't matter whether you're sitting up in this posture or cross-legged or even sitting in a chair. You can still do the side bend, do the side movement. Now notice that I'm putting my hand on the floor. I'm not trying to side bend and compress the opposite side. So the short side should stay long. So I'm opening up this will be your left side. And then we go to the other side. So it'll be an inhale that takes us up and an exhale that takes us in. Inhale up and exhale into the practice. Then we'll do it one more time. So it's almost like side angle or gate pose. But in sitting. There. So now you've done your movements of the spine. Now bring your legs out in front of you and pump your thigh muscles. And then we'll lie on our backs and do our warm-ups. So we'll do the full body stretch, single knee to chest, double knee to chest, and then side rolls. So let's all lie down. Take your arms overhead and do your 3 full body stretches. Inhale and exhale, stretch the arms and legs apart. Inhale, relax. And again, and relax. And one more time. And relax. Now the single knee to chest. And if you're ahead of me, that's okay. Keep moving. Stretching out, exhaling. Bringing the knee into the chest. And then after you've done your 3 on each side, start your double knee to chest. Remember the variation for anyone whose back is a little bit troublesome. Good. And then we've done our 3. So now we bring our knees to our chest, squeeze tight, and rock side to side. Okay, well, we're ready for our hamstring stretch, the outer hip stretch, and the inner thigh stretch. Now, because we're going to be doing that belt protraction, let's not switch legs back and forth. Let's get it on the right leg, get it set up right, and do everything on just the right side for the sake of confusion and time. Here's my extra, that's my 6-foot belt. I'll turn this way, because one of the things that we want to make sure is that we get this, and it doesn't matter what kind of belt you got, you want the tail to point away, so that when you pull the tail, the thigh bone goes into external rotation. So and I'm going to keep that buckle close to my hip, but not on the hip. So the belt goes around the left foot and the right thigh. So then I lie down like this, and to make sure that belt goes all the way to the top of the thigh bone as close as I can get it. And then I check. Right now you can see that the buckle is on my outer hip. So I'm going to move that away and make the whole belt slide and check so that therefore I don't have metal or plastic objects on my skin, just the belt. And then I check and I push my left leg to straight, and I can tell that belt's not tight enough. So now when I pull the belt, it pulls my, you can see the little design there on my shorts goes that way. Then that'll probably be good, but once I take the right leg up, I'll know for sure. So right leg goes up, straighten the knee, and the last thing, push the left leg to straight. Then tap this belt, see how it feels. Is this tension in the belt pretty tight? Now if it's over tight, you'll know because you can't get the hamstring to actually lengthen. The belt will block the thigh bone. It won't let the leg come to you. And if you have it too loose, there's an attraction. There's an attraction, and also there will be no pressure on the joint capsule, which will help with hydration of the joint capsule. So here we are, Supta Baddha Visthasana with joint traction. So everyone hopefully has it, or is doing the hamstring stretch and thinking, I'm going to get me that 8-foot belt, right? Because it'll come in very handy. Now let's do the outer hip. Put both of the belts into your left hand. Don't move your pelvis at all. Don't move your left leg at all. But cross the leg over to your left. So your big toe lines up with the left shoulder. It only moves enough so that you have the lengthening of the outer hip muscles. There is no movement in the pelvis. The belt is doing what we sometimes do with our left hand to make sure that we get the forward, the more anterior muscle fibers of the gluteus medius and the tensor fasciae lata, also part of the stretch. You have to peek down at your left leg, or at least feel down into your left leg. Make sure it didn't roll out. And then bring the leg back up and switch hands. I'm going to take my left hand and just place it on the left thigh. Just remind my left thigh not to lift up as I take my right leg to the right. And then, so as I go, there's a tendency for the body to want to rock over. And so we'll just remind that left leg, stay grounded. Let the left buttock rise up a little bit and become light, but not the thigh. Now lengthen out through that inner thigh, from the inner groin to the inner heel of your right leg. Create as much length as you can. I mean, you're here, you might as well. And then on your exhale, up it comes and release. Wonderful. Now let's take that belt off. If you're using the traction belt, you can take it off. And we'll all just rest our legs on the floor together for just a moment, side by side. Let the legs go loose and limp and just feel the difference. Because even if you didn't use the traction belt, you'll feel a difference. 20 years later of practicing, we should still make these observations. Know what your practices are doing for you. Never forget. Now we'll do the other side. So most of you can stay right where you are. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to turn around this way and do my left leg. So I put this on the right foot now. This is where sometimes we get a little confused. What did I just do? Well, we had it on the right foot and the left, we had it on the left foot and the right thigh. Now it's going to be on the left thigh, right at the top of the thigh bone, and the right foot and the right knee is bent. I adjust this belt. I want the tail pointing away still. I might have to make an adjustment. It's just a good habit to make sure the tail points away, and that way we don't get lost in, I'll just make do. I'll just make do. Always take the time to do it well. Now take your other belt around the head of the heel of your left leg and stretch your right leg out. Both legs are straight now. And we'll see if we have the traction that we are hoping for in this left leg. Fine tune, make all of the little adjustments that you need. Okay, and then you enjoy the ride. The hip joint of all the joints in the body can become more compressed than some of the others because of the weight of the body falling onto the joint. If the muscles around the joint are tight, they pull the two bones together. If we're hypermobile and the muscles are loose, then the bones collapse on each other. So it's almost like we can't win. Do we want to be hypomobile or hypermobile? And the answer, of course, is we want to be balanced. And be right there in the middle. Now let's do the outer hip. Place both of the belts into your right hand. The left hand gets a vacation. And now we'll cross the left leg to the right. Now this, you can't see this in the screen very well, but I didn't see any brand new students. You all know what I'm doing. I've crossed the leg over to the side. So my big toe now lines up with my right shoulder. These muscles sometimes do get out of balance in the hip. So we're looking to try to keep them open, but we also need to keep them strong. Now, this is the Healthy Back and Spine class. So we're focusing a lot on opening, but don't forget, we also want to do strengthening practices for the outer hips, like Warrior Two and side angle pose. Those postures, you have to use your hip to help hold you up. So make sure you're practicing them. Lift your leg up. That's on an inhale. Switch hands as you're exhaling. Take another breath and use this exhale to guide that leg over to the left. I'm going to take my right hand once again and place it on my thigh. Stay down. Now lengthen from the left inner groin all the way to the left inner heel. And keep the right hand on the right thigh to not remind it to press down. You don't have to do that. Some of you may find that annoying, but to me, it's very helpful to remind it, because otherwise I might start getting into the inner thigh stretch and forgetting what the grounding leg is supposed to be doing. Now let's use an exhale. Lift that leg up and release. Let the leg down. Release the belt, the traction belt. Both belts can be set off to the side. Stretch both legs out and feel for a moment. You can feel I think maybe we would say, the blood rushing into the legs, and also the joints themselves feel less tight and compressed. We would also hope that the traction in the hip joint also goes all the way up into your spine. But let's go ahead and bend your knees, roll over to the side, and come to sit. I'd like for us to do the 3 practices to move the spine in those 6 directions again. We'll start with the cat and the cow, or the child's pose and the modified cobra. Okay, so I'm going to put a blanket down for my knees, just to remind us that we can. And the first practice, and some of you already know what you want to do, so go ahead and start that spine. But just to remind you, the back bend and the rounded back forward bend for the spine. Spine's in a back bend, inhale. Spine's in a forward bend, exhale. And if you can do a little bit more, stretch the hips back. That's your exhale now, forward bending the spine. And now come into the straight arm cobra. Just drop down into a little back bend. Keep lifting up out of the shoulders. Back into the child's pose, exhaling. Into the back bend, inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Let's do 3 more. 3 more times. I don't know if we can ever do enough of these. We'll probably spend the whole day just going back and forth, trying to create some heat around these muscles and get them to loosen up. All right, so now let's do our side bend. And this time we'll do it as gate pose. So we did that last week. I'm almost sure I'm having a deja vu moment. So I'm going to set my blanket up for my knees again, and then have a block on either side. Because I'm not, you can put your hand on your leg, but I am a hyperextender. So I don't do that. So I've got one block here and the other block here. And when I say I'm a hyperextender, I mean in my knee joint. I can bend my knee backwards, and putting my hand on my leg, I might put the weight of my body onto the leg. Let's take the right leg to the right first. And if you move that for a moment, you can put the foot down, that's fine. You can just keep on the heel, and we'll go over to the right. And we won't move very quickly in and out of this, as it takes a little while to get there, but we'll do it 3 times. Reach out over the right leg, bring your hand down to your block, and you can move this away a little bit. So you don't have to have the elbow bent. Just stretch down towards the foot with your block, or it might end up straight down if you're a little bit less mobile. And then this arm is going to go over your head. So there's your lateral stretch. Yummy. And then inhale, up you come. Bring your right leg back. Take your left leg out to the side. Inhale. And exhale over the left leg. There's my block. Move it out a little bit. Right arm overhead. Inhale, come up, bring the left knee back in place, take the right leg out. Here we go again, stretch, down, arm is coming over. Inhale, come up, bring the knee back onto the mat, take the other leg out to the side, reach out over your left leg, down to the block, right arm over your head. And we have 1 more to go. Inhale, come up. Bring the left knee back beside the right leg. Take your right leg out to the side. Stretch out. Down you come. Left arm over. This is like a balancing challenge, isn't it? Aren't you glad I haven't fallen? No, I say something about falling, and the next thing you know, I'll be on the floor. There. And then inhale, up you come. Bring your left knee back in place. Release your arms. Have a seat. Sometimes it doesn't work to sit down on the heels. The thigh muscles are a little tight, but you start moving that direction, and then we'll all stretch forward. Slide your hands back and press up. So we did our forward bending and back bending movement. We did our side bending movement, and now we'll do our twist. And we'll do the twist like the bent, well, it will be the bent knee twist, but we'll do it moving in and out with breath. So all the props will go away. And we'll get to lie down again. Arms are out to the side. Place the right foot on the left thigh. Take your left hand to the outer right knee. Inhale, and as you exhale, we'll twist over to the left first, right? So your right knee points to your left. And then inhale, come out, switch sides. Now, it's okay if you need a little extra time to switch sides. Sometimes the brain has to sort out left, right stuff. And on the exhale, twist towards your left now. I'm sorry, your right, to your right, right knee to the left knee to the right. And then inhale out you come. And we'll switch. So it's right knee to the left. See, oh, I got it. And then out you come and switch. So if you got ahead of me because I was talking and teaching, that's fine. You can do an extra one or come out, pause and wait. Now I have one more on each side if you're working with me. You can turn the head, of course. That'll add the neck into it. And then release. And stretch out and take a deep breath. And now we'll stand up. Because I know some of you are thinking, Terry, we haven't done anything for the hip flexors today. I said, I know. I was waiting for us to come to standing because we want to utilize Warrior One, right? But let's hold on to something if you have it available. You don't have to. You can do it without something. But I'm going to just grab the metal chair. I could also just use this chair right here. I could turn it and set it right here and hold on to the back of it. We're in our homes. We've got something to hold on to. So I'm going to use the back of the chair to steady myself, you see? Take the right foot forward. Now, right now, I have to lean forward. That will change once I set my feet apart. Once I take my left leg back, you see, I sort of go down into the posture now. The pose was up because I was standing with my legs straight, but now my knees are bent and the other leg is behind me, so now I sink down. I can use the chair to steady myself and spend a little time getting the pelvis level and making sure that I have an opening where I need it here. I want my left hip side of my body to open. I also want to make sure that I'm not twisting towards my left, that I'm facing forward. And of course, yesterday, was it yesterday's class? No, it was Monday's class. We were focusing on the back body tension. So we worked on the back leg, the lower leg calf in this very pose. So let's see if we can do that again, because as we have tension in the calf, that will go all the way up the whole back body. Now that you've got yourself steady, you can continue to hold onto the chair if you like, or take your arms out to the side, turn the palms up, and then raise your arms by your ears. Looking up is necessary for only a few, but the rest of us can look straight ahead and keep the back of the neck long. Oh, this pose creates so much power in the body. I know we're probably all practicing this at least, I don't know, what, 6 to 7 times a week. Take a deep breath, use your exhale, lower your arms to catch the chair, step the left foot forward a little bit and the right leg back, and stand all the way up. Back into the Tadasana, the mountain posture. Good. Well, that went very well. So let's do the other side. I hope that everyone found something that they can steady themselves with. And if not, you're just on your mat, stepping forward and back with one leg at a time. I'm going to lean forward and hold the chair again. Set the left foot forward now and the right leg back. Just going to switch sides. And again, using this because we know that the hip flexors, when they are tight, create a lot of pull on the lumbar spine. So this becomes very important. Some lunge of some sort. So now that I've got the distance between my legs adequate for the stretch, check that knee that is over the ankle. Check the back leg, make sure the knee is straight and the heel is pressing towards the floor. And real important, it's so challenging and hard in this posture, make sure the pelvis is facing forward so that we don't have the twist in the spine. I think everything is ready to go. Arms out to the side, palms face up, reach your arms up to the heavens. We all open up the shoulders while we're here. Looking straight ahead or looking up if the neck lets you. And then release. And then, of course, we didn't mention it because I know that you all know this, but one of the main things with that practice to keep the tension out of the lower back is the first lower abdominals. But hopefully we're doing that anyway. Now, have you got that piece of furniture handy? Some of you are in your living rooms, you've got you probably tell people, don't put your feet on the furniture. And here I am telling you, put your feet on the furniture. And so then your significant other comes home and there you are, your feet on the furniture. And you have to say, well, Terry said so. I get in trouble all the time. It's just constant. What we're going to do is a standing twist. So you put, it's a balancing standing twist. Usually done at the wall, but we're going to do it right in the middle of the room if we can. So wherever you are, so if I have, like this is, suppose this is my sofa arm. I could, it's a little high for a sofa arm, and I could just put my foot up there like that. Or I can face a chair like this one, or my coffee table, and put the foot up there like that. Now, you see, this would be my left knee. Today it won't matter. Whichever knee you have up on the chair, and you say to yourself, you're going to turn to that bent leg. So I know that it just depends on how you ended up in the room, what leg you might have upright. So you're probably wanting to face the computer screen. So I'm taking, this will be whichever hand is turning towards the leg, it goes on the outer knee to pull you more into the twist, and this hand goes onto your hip and just hangs on tight. The spine should lift up, inhale, and exhale, turn, turn, turn. Sometimes in yoga, this is called the standing Marichasana. Now we'll turn towards the facing forward position, release whatever leg we have on the chair, so that I will face the computer screen. I'm going to turn my chair around to do the other side. Steady yourself, make sure you have some balance, and then turn, and just remember which side you did, so you're doing the other side. So my opposite hand is coming to the outer knee, my other hand is now on my hip, and I'm turning. I'm using this hand to pull me around. Turn, turn, turn. Oh, and watch this knee not to fall out of place. Don't let it fall out to the side. It's staying directly right over the shin. Now, it's okay if this knee is a little angled. It's okay, because sometimes the surface that your foot is on might be a little, see if I'm higher, the knee will be even more at an acute angle. That is okay, as long as you're not weight bearing on it. It's in the weight bearing poses that we get really concerned, or poses where we're pulling on the leg, like in the internal and external rotator postures. So the spine just really lift, and then we twist. So it feels nice. And release. Okay, so now we did that warrior one, had a little bit of a back bend in it, right? Because it was pulling on the psoas major, like what happens in a back bend. And we just did a twist. Oh, are we going to do a lateral movement? Well, you bet. So you know what that one is. Yep. Old trusty triangle pose. I think the triangle pose happens in this room now every single day, twice, sometimes 3 times. Okay, start in the middle of your mat, got your blocks ready. And if you need more height, you've got furniture again all around you. Bend your knees, inhale, step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and your right leg out, Trikonasana to your right. we are very interested in making sure that the spine stays even on both sides. Don't collapse on your right side as you go to the right. Inhale up you come, turn your feet forward, repeat to the other side. So while we're here with a few remaining breaths, your mind is all over the place, right? You said, now the 6 movements to the spine, the twist took care of 2, the triangle pose took care of 2, and we did warrior 1, which represented our back bend. Where is our forward bend? Turn your feet forward, bend your knees, step your feet together, and exhale your arms down by your side. The forward bend, and done in a standing posture in a back care class, has to be really modified according to what you're going through. Some of us may be able to do a full forward bend and enjoy and appreciate the stretch, and some of us may have to hang back a little bit. So if you have a wall in your house, you could do a half forward bend. I have this wall right here behind me. So I could just put my hands about shoulder level or a little bit higher if I'm very stiff, and just back up and push into the wall while leaving the hips right over the ankles. Some of us can probably come forward, but we need a little bit of help in the forward bend with regards to not going so far down that we get that strain in the low back. So maybe blocks to stop you. And then some of us may be able to go all the way down and then release. So we have to pick what's right for our body. We're all unique. And then let's bend our knees and inhale, come up. If you're using the wall, walk to the wall, and then let your arms come down, as we all do, and rest by your side in mountain posture. I think that it's very important when you have back issues, and this helped me many years ago, but I still, it's kind of interesting when I start thinking about my origins in the practices of yoga and my back pain. It comes up sometimes, the memories are like yesterday, but we really need to work on this right here, being strong. Because without a strong front body, the rectus abdominis and its the deep obliques don't really do forward flexion movements, but I mean not the rectus. You have the rectus abdominis, and then you have the internal and the external obliques going diagonally, and then you have the deep transverse abdominis. There you go, it came. Well, it's such a stabilizer that it's really a hard muscle to strengthen. And that lifting of the pit of the abdomen continuously in all your postures is what's going to help you stay strong at that deepest part of those 4 layers of abdominal muscles. So for the obliques today, we're going to do what's called a corkscrew. It's kind of a combination of like a boat that's twisting. And we'll relax back on our hands. And I'll show you, let me just leave these blocks here. In case you were to put your hands behind me like this. So you see me like this, everyone? That's pretty easy, isn't it? But sometimes we lean back like this on our hands and the wrists are so tight. And because these forearm muscles also go across the wrist and into the fingers, if we take the fingers out, sometimes it's a little easier. So you could lean back on blocks like this and take the fingers out so they're not stretched. And you may find that you can relax better. You can turn your hands out a little bit. Just be experimental and find what works for you, because the arm position, even if I turn my hands out, is not as relevant as what we're getting ready to actually do. So now if I just lean back like that, that's kind of a boat pose, isn't it? But what we'll do to make it the corkscrew practice is we take the knees over to the side. See, I'm taking my knees to the camera, and then I stretch back out in my boat, and then I bring my knees away from the camera. And so we're going to do this with breath. Exhale, the knees come up towards the right shoulder, stretch out, and now exhale, the knees to the left shoulder. Let's do that one more time. Each side, stretch out, knees up. It's a twist. Stretch out, knees to the other side. Now let's take a break, and I'll do it this way, this time, so you can see what, a little bit more from the front what the legs are doing. I bet we could try to get up to 5. Aren't you feeling that? What that means is 5 each side. Some of you, oh, 5, that's a piece of cake. That's 2.5 each side. But no, we're going to go for the full 10, which is 5 each side. Let's do it. Okay, so here we go. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. You can stop at any time, by the way, because sometimes we're not quite ready to get all the way. So this right here, if we're doing 5, that would be count as 3, and here's 4. Exhale, here's the last one. And release. You know what we need to do after that? Oh, you're right. We need to stretch the abdominals out in like bridge pose. So let's lie on our back and do that. Gotta make sure we don't bang our heads on any props that are lying around. So let's do the first one just as a simple bridge that opens up the front body. Let's get those muscles to lengthen and relax before we actually go up into the full bridge. So I'm not tucking the shoulders in, I'm just opening this up. So that's a good practice to throw in with all those other practices that you're doing every day. So you get stronger and stronger. Now, bridge pose is, I think, one of the most valuable. We talked about this yesterday in the back care class. Not the back care, the back bend class, the level 2 back bend class, where bridge pose is good because it strengthens all the back extensors, your hamstrings, your gluteus maximus, and the low back extensors. And they're weak sometimes and fail to help support us in the way that they should. So let's do the full bridge now, where we actually will also tuck our shoulders under. So lift up, tuck your shoulders under. You may have to use a belt. You may have to hold a mat. I'm going to actually hold my hands, tuck, tuck, and then up you come. So now we're truly working in the bridge pose. You have to look at the ceiling now. Don't be tempted to see what Terry's up to. Yeah, so now you're opening the hip flexors again, but you've also got those muscles in the back body working. So 2 things here. 1, we did a practice for the front core stabilizers. And 2, we're now doing our practice for the back body. Let's come down and take a break and go ahead and bring your knees to your chest and rock side to side. That always feels good after bridge. But let's repeat that, because if it's so important to keep these muscles strong, we don't want to just do it one time and forget about it the rest of the day. We're here and we're supporting and encouraging each other, so why not go ahead and repeat it? If you feel this in your low back, you might be pushing too hard, so just back off a little bit. And another thing is to remember, take the sacrum towards the knees. Once you're up in the pose, lift the abdominal muscles towards the heart. That'll help take the pelvis and pull it more towards a posterior pelvic tilt, and therefore free the lumbar spine up so it's not so crunchy. We're ready. Let's do that. Lift up, do your pelvic adjustments so the back of the pelvis goes towards the knees. Lift up more, interlace your fingers, tuck, tuck, up we go. And always, and what we mean by that is always check and make sure 2 things. 1, that you've gotten your shoulders under you well, so you feel that you're on your shoulders, those outer muscles. And then your neck is, it still has a sense of an arch. It's not flat on the floor. If you were to say la, 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 you would sound clear and not muffled because you're crushing your vocal cords. And then down we come. Nothing like a good hug. Give yourself a hug for doing so well. You know, we're gonna all deserve a good hug. We can't hug each other, so we just have to keep hugging ourselves. Hug ourselves. And if you do have someone around that you're still close to, hug them often. Get your hugs from them. You know, we've talked about that in yoga classes many times, how important, you know, human contact is. And so ironic that now we're being told we can't have contact with each other. So we'll just have to keep using somebody close to us and get a lot of hugs from them. Yeah, let's do the windshield wiper thing. Take your feet wide apart and begin to rock your legs side to side. Just notice how that feels. Let the breath lift the legs up and lower them to the side. Yeah. So this is where, you know, a class on Wednesdays at 4, we were always using the yoga wall, and we don't have the yoga wall anymore, but we still have a plethora of practices we can do. As you see, every time that we've done this class since we've been sequestered into our homes, we always add a little something different. We add a little something extra. So come to neutral now. So the reason why I'm putting this out is on Saturday, I will be doing a special workshop class on how to have a yoga wall at home, even when you don't have a yoga wall, just using your door and your 2 belts. So please, you know, if you want to participate in that, just sign up. And also remember that there'll be somebody at the studio tomorrow for a little while. You just have to contact us and find out if you can get in there when we're there moving furniture and get a belt. We don't post our hours if we do something like that on the website, because you know that we're just trying to make sure we lay low and not be open officially. But we are, you know, taking advantage of trying to get a lot of maintenance things done. So hopefully when we reopen, it feels clean and fresh and sanitized. Hooray! Okay, so let's go ahead and do one more thing. I want to get the hip flexors one more time with the inner groins. So let's do that pose where it's like an upside down lunge. Can you hold your foot like this? If not, can you put a belt around it so that the bottom of the foot looks up at the ceiling? And then while pulling that leg down to the side of the body, so I'm not pulling it into the body, I'm pulling it beside the body, stretch the opposite leg out. I can hold them to the shin if I don't have my belt handy, see? Or the foot. And then release, and let's do that other side. So I always start with the opposite leg bent. That makes it easier to get the leg that's in the lunge-like position in place. And then as I stretch that bottom leg out, if I need to let go of the leg that's in the pose a little bit, I can do that. And then release. And then let's do one more thing before we do Shavasana. Let's let the inner thighs stretch a little bit more in Baddha Konasana. It sometimes feels nice to just lie. I know we love to do this in supported variation. There's some people get so excited when they hear we're going to set up for a Supta Baddha Konasana, the reclined down angle pose with bolsters, etc. But it feels nice sometimes to just lie on the floor like this with no props and let the inner thighs release. And we can already start to feel the earth beneath us supporting us, holding us and loving us and adoring us. All that we've done, all that we've been through, we are still loved and we are still adored. Now let's use our hands to lift the legs up, and let's all get set up for relaxation. So look around the room, your house, you gather your props. Some of you have your cats and your dogs handy to cuddle with while you're resting in Shavasana. If you have people in your house and they make a little noise, it's always a good idea to just step out and say, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. Help me out here. Don't forget, it's okay to ask and have that request honored for your own well-being. This time where you rest in Shavasana is so important and so valuable. It's like plugging your cell phone into the charger and getting some more juice. Sometimes we look at our phones and we see we're almost out of power. And we think, oh my God, I don't have time to plug my phone in for 2 hours and get a good charge. But you have time to plug it in for 10 minutes. You have time to plug it in for 5 minutes and get a little extra charge that'll get you through for a while. Look upon that quick cell phone charge like our little Shavasana. It's an opportunity for a little quick charge that'll get you through for a while. Sink, rest, my friends. Let yourself be quiet. Your body, your nervous system knows what to do. It's been waiting for this moment for a while. Take a slow, deep breath into your body and exhale. Feeling refreshed, bend your knees and begin to gently rock your legs side to side. And now roll to your right, please, and pause for a moment. Curled up in a little ball. Let your arms press into the floor and help you up to sit comfortably. Thank you for practicing with me this afternoon. May we live like the lotus at home in the muddy waters. Namaste.